Beyond the beat, slow feet don't eat. You went and made it, was your story. Beyond the beat, come talk with Teak. We all can make it, share your story. Beyond the beat, beyond, way beyond the beat, beyond.
Weekly Close with CIC, where realtors keep it real and drop the knowledge you need about today's market. I'm your host, Teak the Agent, and every week we're breaking it down, the wins, the lessons, and the moves you can make to buy, sell, and invest with confidence. Let's get it.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Akai, the realtor here. Happy New Year. So good to see y'all.
Hey, it's Alicia with Call It Closed.
Welcome, Alicia. I think this is your first time on. So
Is it? It's your first time on? You acting like it.
Speaking is your first time on. So thank you for joining us today. This is a new year, so maybe we can set that standard going forward. We like to hear new voices here. Our guest here, we have Austin Tatka with HPRG. He is our commercial broker and our go-to person now, because we don't have a commercial person, I don't think.
Now we do.
Now we do.
Yeah.
So if you want to introduce yourself, Austin.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm with Health Pro Realty Group. I've been in residential for 10 years, and I made the switch this last year. Just a good mentor, a client of mine that really wanted to get me over and was willing to teach me the ins and outs of the commercial business. So I'm excited to be here and excited for this year.
We know a lot of people that have questions about commercial period. Yeah. And today we're talking about residential versus commercial. There's a lot of myths, a lot of truths. We're hoping you can break those down for us today.
Definitely, I'll do what I can.
Okay, yeah. What got you started into real estate in the beginning?
So I was at ASU. I was kind of just jumping around majors, 2 years there. And really, it was just more fun than learning. My dad at that point was in real estate for about 10 years, and he got me a Groupon, actually, to just go take my real estate classes. So.
I got a Groupon, too.
Yeah. Shout out to Groupon. Right. Shout out to Groupon.
Did you know that you can go on Groupon and get a coupon it's a discount for real estate school? So, yeah, that's how I got mine.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
So I,
Groupon,
winter break one time from college, I just started my courses. I did the 2-week crash course with the school. Mm-hmm. Jumped right into the tests. I think I got licensed in like 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
And then did another semester at ASU while starting to do all the real estate, like team meetings and stuff like that. And then just realized I was wasting money at Arizona State and went full force into real estate.
Now, you got your license how many years ago?
A little over 10.
So it's totally different climate than it is right now, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, you see kind of different stages of the market. When I got licensed, it was more of a seller's market, I'd say. It was more balanced, Homes weren't sitting super long, but buyers were still looking. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen in the last few years with real estate.
Mm-hmm. So you said a balanced market. For those of us who don't know what that is, tell us what that means to have a balanced market.
So a balanced market, it doesn't really favor one side or the other. You're going to list the house, you're going to have the buyers come by. Nobody's beating each other up on price. It's just kind of, everything's kind of where it should be.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you're a commercial agent now, a broker. Nope, not an agent. Before we get into what commercial real estate looks like in Arizona, talk to us about how you switched over from residential to commercial and what that requires.
So, it doesn't really require anything. You have your Arizona real estate license. You can use it for residential or commercial. Now, you really shouldn't be kind of doing both because you should be a master in one side of it.
Mm-hmm. Say that again.
Should be a master in one side of it. So, when I was even a younger, realtor, I was like, okay, I can probably do this commercial deal here and there. And I did a couple leases, nothing major. Mm-hmm. But now being on the commercial side of it, I just realized I was way in over my head. at all. But no, your real estate license can work for either or, but I wouldn't jump into commercial real estate without actually having a mentor to teach you the ins and outs of it.
Right. So you can't just leave ASU and jump into being a successful commercial real estate broker.
Yeah.
So even being a broker now, you had your residential license, real estate license for 10 years. What made you decide to get your broker's license versus just a regular real estate salesperson?
So I got my broker's license a few years back. I really just got that for the title. I mean, it sounds cooler. I never
It
really.
does.
No, I did help my dad run his brokerage for a little bit. Just kind of like behind the scenes, paperwork wise. I never really wanted the liability of running my own brokerage. It's just there's not really any profit there either. You're more likely to make profit off a team and that whole structure.
Right.
But associate broker versus salesperson, it just sounds a little. For me, it sounded a little better.
More official.
just a
That's
title.
what that is. Yeah, it sounds more official. So. You had to have your license for 3 whole years, and you got your license afterwards, or do you know what that rule is?
So it's 3 years of being a full-time agent, pretty much.
Okay.
Your broker has to sign off on you getting your broker's license.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, it's just your broker has to say that you've been working 3 years full-time.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I know that being a real estate agent, period, right, it requires a certain personality, I would say, being out working with different people, right? You wouldn't go work at McDonald's and you don't like people. I mean, you got to talk to people all day. Is there certain people you would recommend to do commercial versus realtor? Have you ever met a realtor and you're like, man, you should be doing commercial? Is it that big of a difference?
I wouldn't say it's that big of a difference. I mean, you have to be a go-getter. It's not just going to... Now, I will say I got lucky in the first cold call I made in commercial space. I got a listing and now 2 listings out of them. But you have to be willing to put in the work, just like a realtor. If you can be a successful realtor, you can be a successful commercial broker, but you just have to, learn from somebody because it's not something you can just jump into.
Okay. You said something about cold calling. Is that still one of the most prevalent things you have to do as a commercial broker to get clients?
I'd say, I have another, so we do mainly healthcare real estate, so all medical buildings, dental, all that. I will say I'm kind of getting some flyers together so I can just kind of go into the offices and, introduce myself to the doctors and try to get in front of them. So it's, with commercial real estate, you're not just buying and selling, commercial real estate. You're doing the leases, lease renewals, stuff like that. And a lease in commercial is nothing like a lease in residential.
That part, right? And that's that myth that I was saying, that people don't know when to jump to the commercial side or let me say this, to refer to a commercial broker versus I'm just going to give it to another agent. I'm like, I don't think that's how that works. It has to be commercial.
I mean, it doesn't have to be per se,
Yeah,
but you
I mean,
should,
but
you
knowledge-wise,
shouldn't do it.
knowledge-wise.
Because, in Arizona, you don't need an attorney to look over, residential stuff. You don't need it technically for commercial either, but you're going to get a lease from this landlord, and you recommend them talking to an attorney to actually go over line by line to make sure everything's how it should be and they're not getting screwed over in some way. There's just a lot more formality to it.
Mm-hmm. So if we have a what we would think qualified referral, what should we do before referring them to you? Is there anything that we need to prep for or get information out to know that they are qualified to be referred to you? Because a lot of people don't know what they want, right? And it's like, oh yeah, I know right away with certain words, like it's above my scope, so I'm going to refer it out to you. Is there anything that we should be looking for or prep them before, like filter out before we refer them to you?
Not really. I mean, we can go through that with them. More so, are they just starting a business or are they an existing business? Have they had a lease before somewhere else? Or are they just needing more space? We kind of have to figure out those ins and outs because the first time that we're going to talk to a landlord's broker, they're going to ask all these questions about their business.
Okay.
And they're going to want to know that they're established, that they can actually pay rent at the space.
Okay.
Because there's a lot, which we'll talk about later, that goes into the commercial leasing aspect of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't like to refer what we call like just a lead. So I think when you're asking about how do we prep them, so Austin, correct me if I'm wrong. There's no prep necessary because you're gonna go through what that looks like anyways, right? It's no prep that we need to do, but we also like to maintain our relationship. So even though we are referring to you guys because they want a commercial lease or a commercial building, we want to maintain our relationships. How do you guys go about making sure the real estate salesperson can maintain that relationship, but also you can close the deal on the commercial side?
I mean, I like I said, I don't mind just a lead. I'll go through it all.
Oh, he want to do the hard work. He want to do it. Okay. All right, now
I
y'all
don't
hear
mind
him.
hitting the ground running.
Okay.
So
That's good to know.
Yeah.
there's a lot of brokers out there, I'd say on the commercial side, that if the deal's too small, they won't.
Yeah.
Okay, he said it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was trying to avoid
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And
Okay.
that's because we get that and we refer and then they come back to us like,
They said there was nothing they could do for us.
Yeah.
and
get that.
we want to prevent that.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah. If I can do it, I'll do it.
okay. That's
if
great to
they're
know.
motivated, I can do it.
That's great to know.
I will say a lot of the leads I've gotten so far, they're super hyped for in the beginning, and then they just see the dollar amount on a lease, and then they kind of freak out and disappear. Same in you're at residential, you're showing houses, then they realize they're kind of in over their head.
Yeah.
But like I said, my first listing that I got, it was a lease. It was a dental office. It was a smaller building. It's a freestanding building, but it's in a great location. The broker that they usually go through referred it to these two younger kids that didn't really have experience, but because it's a smaller deal, they didn't want to do it at the larger scale. So the two smaller kids who knew nothing about healthcare, just kind of brokers or agents really at that point, had it for about 7 months, had like two showings through it, and they fired them to hire us.
Okay.
We got in there, 30 days, I had a tenant in. I had probably 7 showings in the 30 days.
That's awesome.
So it's just, it doesn't matter the size to me. Just when I was in residential, I'll do a piece of land or I'll do a $5 million house. I treat them all the same.
Right. That's awesome. That's good to know.
What's one skill set you think a commercial broker would need that a regular real estate salesperson may not?
It's a lot more math.
A lot more math.
A lot more business
Ooh,
sense.
that's-
Yeah, we got to pull out our school degrees. I can't pull out that certificate now.
So
I don't know how much an acre is. I got to look it up.
You don't have to know that part of it.
Yeah.
But the residential, it's based on emotions. The buyers in there, it's a very emotional transaction. On the commercial side, it's all business.
Okay.
If the number makes sense,
They're going for
the
it.
deal works.
Okay. But
That's really good to know.
But do they also, like you're saying, like location, depending on what their market is, like you have to find something that fits them as well, right? Like it can't just all be numbers.
Yeah. I mean, for the most, the good thing about the doctors and all that, I mean, they're going to need a location and they're going to build around that. They're going to keep that building for a long time because they don't want to just get a spot and then move somewhere else. So they're already pretty familiar with where they want to be. But when you're looking at like retail and stuff, it very much matters where they are because, that's going to be drive-by traffic or it's just going to be hidden and they're not going to get any people in and out.
So I know you said you did mostly medical, but like what about like the people that do like tattooing or like do you do that too?
I'm working on a tattoo one right now. Like,
Nice.
I'll do everything. I want to obviously focus on the medical side just because that is what we specialize in. That is our niche. But I'm not going to say no to somebody if it's something that I can do. If it's not something I can do, I'm humble enough to refer it out to somebody who's better to do it.
Okay.
That's good to know. Arizona is growing like weeds that nobody likes, but nevertheless growing, which is awesome for real estate. What are some hot areas for commercial real estate you would recommend for people who are looking to grow their business, maybe get a brick and mortar and, kind of start off that way since Arizona is one of those hot topics now?
I mean, I'd say everywhere is a good area. I mean, things are moving here. In Buckeye, things are moving in Scottsdale. There's a huge medical development right off the 101 in Scottsdale right there going up. Lots of office buildings. Everywhere that's desert right now, it's going to be full at some point.
Wow.
I was working with a client on a warehouse, and The warehouse was listed at like $11.7 million.
Oh wow.
So we went in there, we were looking at it, and, you know, they had some Japanese group come in, buy it cash. You know, they don't offer cash. So people are buying. It
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
They are.
My eyes got so big. And we were on camera. You was like, what up? Like 11 million cash. That is
That's
so crazy.
insane.
But because because it's growing, you're going to get some tenants in there. They're going to be willing to do the leases and all of that stuff. So you'll get the money back. What is a typical turnaround time for a project like that to get, you know, the space fully leased and up and running and you're turning a profit?
So that one, I honestly think they were just getting it for their own business. So I don't
okay.
think they're going to lease it out. It's not my client, so I don't know their exact,
Yeah.
you know, what they want to do with it. But, you know, when you buy a building, the landlord doesn't do too much unless they need to separate walls, stuff like that, make more space. When the tenant comes in to look at it, the process is, all right, tenant likes this spot. Then they're going to write a proposal to the landlord or to the broker on the other side. They're going to ask for what they want to pay in rent. They're going to ask for what's called tenant improvements, where the landlord will basically credit the tenant for any repairs or to make the space exactly how they want. And I mean, the turnaround time from there, from actually signing, if it needs a lot of tenant improvements and stuff, it could be 9 months to 12 months out before the tenant actually moves in.
Okay.
So there's a lot to that. But I mean, spaces, they do sit for a little bit, you know, depending on the area.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's all subjective.
I bet you they don't sit in Scottsdale, huh?
They do. So I mean, some
Really?
of them. It's just like, you know, residential. It's where it's priced at, what
Yeah.
they're asking.
Yeah. Okay. Would you consider like, say for instance, you wanted to buy a building, a warehouse, and you wanted to make it residential? Is that still commercial, or could you even do that if it's zoned properly?
Now, if it's zoned properly, I think you can do that if it's, you know, multifamily or something residential. I'd say it's probably more of a headache than.
Really?
I mean,
Than just going to buy an apartment building?
Yeah, anything dealing with the county and all that. It's not fun.
Okay.
I have a question though. Like I know that commercial leases are different. So like sometimes the tenant would have to pay taxes, or tenant would pay like certain things that a regular lease, like if you were to lease your own rental, a house, residential,
Yeah.
it's totally different.
Yeah, so there's different types of leases. There's triple net. There's you know, gross. There's modified gross. Triple net is basically the tenant's paying everything. They're paying taxes. They're paying utilities. They're doing everything on that property. Modified gross is basically, you know, tenants paying this and this. Landlord's paying taxes, for some example. Now, a full gross lease, that is the landlord or what the tenant pays in their lease or their rent covers everything. So it's not like they're getting charged extra for, you know, utilities or anything like that.
Have you seen any commercial buildings where it's like, I've heard like you have a warehouse and there's like multiple tenants where they like would split it like a not what would it be called if they're like sharing the lease, like in one space,
Like a co-working
kind of.
sort of issue? Not really. I mean, so you get this whole building, and typically if you're going to section it out, you're going to section it out before you list it. And each tenant's going to have their own spot. It's not going to be really shared. Now, there might be some shared spots, but that would all be in the lease if it is.
Now, we were going to talk about some real world experience.
Okay.
So, what is a deal that you're most proud of and why? Or do you have one that you're most proud of?
I mean, I don't have one per se yet in the commercial. It's been, I mean, I'm probably about 8 months into that part.
Okay.
So I'm still kind of working on those ins and outs of it. I've done, you know, a few medical here, a few warehouses, you know, I've done a few,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say I'm super proud of any of those.
Has anyone, okay, so has anyone have taught you a hard lesson? Any one of those deals have taught you a hard lesson where you're like, I'll never do that again?
I mean, I'd say just working with landlords, it's a pain.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Look, Alicia, you should know about working with landlords. Yeah, just dealing with that in general, I know it's difficult because you guys got to be on the same page. And we all know in the real estate world, it's hard sometimes to get in the same book versus the same page.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
and everything moves a lot slower on the commercial side.
And see, that's the part that I would just it would drive me nuts.
It's driving me nuts.
We closed 20 days on a 30-day transaction, and we were still like every day felt like it was a week.
Yeah.
I promise you, didn't it? It
Yeah, it
felt
did.
like it was a long time, and it was only 20 days.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine a property sitting, for
9 months before you get it all leased out. Yeah.
I mean, the reward is good, but oh my gosh.
I mean, it's also it's not that difficult. I mean, if you get a building that has X amount of spaces,
Yeah.
you're showing those spaces. If somebody calls in to go take a look, there's no lock boxes. I mean, some agents do lock boxes. I don't.
Just let them go look at it.
No, you're the one that's gonna go
Show them around.
Yeah,
Now,
'cause
how do
you're-
you advertise that though?
I mean, we have it up on CoStar, which is like our MLS for commercial. There's LoopNet, which is kind of linked with CoStar. It's a website of CoStar.
See, I didn't know it was a different MLS for commercial.
Yeah, because I don't have MLS anymore. I don't have any of that.
Oh, you got to call us to look at it.
But see, that goes back to that relationship,
Build your relationships,
building
y'all.
relationships back and forth. We want to maintain relationships, partnerships, especially, but you just never know when we need each other, we have a lot of people who, we start off residential, but like, listen, I got a business, I am trying to grow, I just need another expert that can come in and say, hey, this is what it takes, like just speaking in the most layman terms that you can, explaining what this looks like for a client like that while still maintaining and building a relationship.
So we would love for you to come back on because we
Yeah.
have a lot of agents that couldn't be here, but they had tons of questions. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Specifically just about like what the boundaries of our license is as it relates to residential and commercial. And, if it's something that we can do as agents. So say, for instance, I want to start doing commercial leases myself, like, can I do that as a residential agent as well? It's just different things like that and what the ceiling or the boundaries are for our current license.
And like I said, I tried it. I did a couple leases when I was in residential for commercial, but knowing what I know now in commercial, I mean,
It's harder.
it's harder. There's a lot more that you need to know about it. And even myself, like I still do a couple residential here and there, but it's because I just started commercial. So when I get to a point where I don't need to do residential anymore, I mean, all that's just going to be referred out because it's not. You really should focus on one thing and not multiple. But the fact that I did residential for 10 years, I still can kind of have a couple clients here and there that I need to close out.
So what does your week look like? Is it normally a Monday through Friday kind of job when you're in commercial? And that's,
Yeah, I mean, so commercial is all Monday through Friday, which I will say, coming from a residential standpoint where I'm working 7 days a week, it's giving me a huge advantage to actually just responding to people and be willing to show stuff. But if you need to go show a space of, that's listed by another broker that they need to be there, chances are you're not going to see it on a weekend. And chances are you're not going to see it past 5 o'clock. Like I was showing a space once at like 4:30 on a Friday. And I had to send some paperwork to another broker who was representing the landlord on a deal. And I was like, hey, no worries, I'll send that out to you as soon as I get home. I'm just out showing a space. And he responded, he's like, showing a space at 4:30 on a Friday, you're a superstar.
We're like, this is normal.
Right.
Normal to me, yeah. But
Yeah. We don't have that many like able bodies. I ain't gonna say able bodies because everybody's willing agents or brokers that are like willing to, go show at 4:30 on a Friday. Everybody Friday ends at noon, Well, over here we don't make enough money for our Fridays to end at noon.
What'd you say, 6:45?
Right.
I'll be there.
I
I mean, when I was in residential, there was days where I was on a Sunday, 7 in to 9 o'clock at night, just out showing properties. So
Absolutely. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right, to make sure you are maintaining those relationships. Everybody can't go and see or, look for something outside. They have a 9 to 5 too. So our jobs can't be 9 to 5. Our jobs is whenever we're needed.
It's going to be so many missed opportunities because
Yeah.
they get off work and we're like, yeah, we're off too.
Yeah.
Like, how does
But
that work?
on the commercial side, you do have to let them know, like, hey, you're probably gonna have to take a longer lunch because we can't get on in this after hours or
Right. And I think they understand that going into that type of deal.
Right.
So,
Right.
okay.
This has been awesome. I wanted to ask you one more question, Austin. You've answered a ton, like, things like, can we practice both? And, what's the difference between residential, commercial? We've answered all of those kinds of questions. Just getting back to like the real of it, would you go back to residential full time?
probably not. I mean, I like the numbers on it. I kind of got tired of the emotions. A couple of things that really got me to switch over to commercial was just all the lawsuits that happened with the National Association of Realtors, and you got to give props to all the realtors that are out there doing it.
That's still doing it even after
they got to
all
get
of
that
that.
buyer broker signed, otherwise it's their ass on the line.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it is a lot of emotions.
and it's just like it took the fun out of residential for me because obviously we got a lot of leads that came through, a lot of showings like that day or in an hour, and I want to go meet somebody and earn their business instead of trying to force a piece of paper on them.
Right.
Right.
Start.
Right. You want them to work with you.
Yeah.
You don't want them to feel like this is all you got
Right.
because I'm here and you signed my paper.
I mean, my broker in commercial was a client of mine on a residential side.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and he got a call came through. I kind of ran through what I needed to, saying my script on you want to see this house, blah blah blah, and he was like, "Are you the listing agent?" I'm like, "No, I'm not, but I work with the listing agent." He's like, "Well, I only want to talk to the listing agent. I'm a broker. I don't want to work with anybody else, or I can represent myself. Like I don't need any of that."
Okay.
And I'm like, I was taken back for a second. I'm like, Chuck, you want to go see that house tomorrow at noon? Let's just go take a look. And he kind of went back. He's like, okay. And then I met him and his wife, and now I'm
And that was
working
it.
with him.
Because he
So,
liked you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And you were persistent. You
still
were
did your job.
confident.
Yeah.
You were confident. You didn't shy away. It's like, dude, you want a job done? I'm here. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, well, let me say, most times you have to be like that. You have to be confident in your license to know I'm the licensed professional. Trust me. You want to go see it? Let's go do that. Right? So,
I mean, most of my biggest deals on the residential side were people that didn't even want to work with me off the first call. I just had to go meet. And
I think that's important. Talking is talking, right? And that's how I'm not good at cold calling. But when you see me, we gonna turn up. We gonna have fun. I'm gonna have you laughing, and then you gonna be calling me, "Hey, Teek," So I always feel like face to face is better. I love meeting people face to face, and it's not like
It's not scripted over
it's
the
not
phone.
scripted. I'm not trying to scam you because we're in the time of scams. It's always I'm like, look, let's meet me at the Starbucks. I'm not a creep. Let's you know what I mean.
Right.
Meet me in a public place. Meet me at Phoenix Realtors. Meet me somewhere in the public. I guarantee we gon'
yeah.
That's how it is.
And I
So,
used to be super introverted, and I
what?
promise.
I don't
And,
believe that.
I
don't believe
I
that.
failed
He
public
lying.
speaking.
Everybody
ACA.
fails public speaking their
But,
first
like,
time.
I just don't talk to people. It's
Yeah.
not really my thing. But being in real estate for 10 years, it's just kind of opened things up.
Austin, we
Like, I have
met
to.
you being how?
It's just
Like you had to talk to us. Like that's how we met. Like you had to talk. Were you awkward then? Talking to a group of people you didn't know?
No.
Okay.
No, that was a couple years ago. So I mean,
So you're
I'm
good.
talking like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
was
I get
rough.
that. You got to get used to it.
Yeah.
But now it just slides off. Oh yeah, come on.
It's brought me out of my shell.
And I'm gonna say, working with you and listening to you, you have this calm, which. Yeah, we talked about that. You have this calm about you. Like, I feel like if I'm like panicking about something, oh my God, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to meet the deadline. And then you just like, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's just
a lot of people
it's real
need
estate.
that.
Like, you see so much crap that like you
Like,
have,
why
you have
even-
to hide. You have to have it fixed before the client even. Your goal is the client never even knows what the issue
Oh
is.
yeah,
You know,
definitely. You got to
have
be a
that
step ahead.
fixed.
Yeah.
So like it just all. I guess there's no shit that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
It's
You just like, yeah, we'll get it done.
It's normal to me.
Yeah, I'll
A
send
little
it over.
chaos.
Although it's not very normal.
It's an extreme calmness you have about
Right.
yourself.
Yeah, that's a skill that you have to learn for some people. So Austin, I'm a new agent, just getting into real estate. I plan to do residential, but commercial commercial is kind of like just tugging at my like what ifs. What kind of advice do you have for me as a new agent wanting to do commercial, but like I'll do real estate as a fallback, and residential as a fallback?
Yeah. So I mean, you have to have a mentor in it.
Ooh,
I mean,
there you go.
there's
You
no
got one right
way-
here.
There's no way not to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, some of the big shops that you go to, the commissions aren't great, obviously, but you have somebody there helping you. I
Right.
mean, it's basically 50-50 to start. If anybody even gives you an advice on a deal, they're going to want 25%. So it just gets boiled down, but a mentor is important. You can definitely do it. You have to have the hustle. You can't just sit back and wait for things to come to you.
And I would say that with everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We all need people to mentor us and tell us and give us advice.
Where do I go to find a mentor like that? Like how would I be in the presence of someone who's willing to do that? Because like you said, some people will charge you 25% just by giving you one sentence advice. So like, where do I go to meet y'all?
I mean, just like any other, you know, brokerage, you want to kind of interview, you know, and see how they are. Now, if you want to talk to me, I'm happy to talk. And, you know, we're a small team out here. It's just me and my broker. Largely, we're on the East Coast, but he started out here with me.
Okay.
So we're growing out here. Like I said, we do mainly medical, and that's kind of where our niche is and focus.
Okay.
So if you have any interest in that, if you know some doctors or anything, let's chat.
I actually do. I talked to a couple yesterday.
So I mean, the thing is, I mean, these doctors, they stay in their spots for so long. Their leases are 10 years each time with renewals. They have that base rent when they start their lease, and if they don't renegotiate that lease when it comes time to renegotiate and
Right.
just extend out,
Right.
the landlord's going to keep going off their base rent from way back then.
Yep.
And the commercial leases, they have a 3% escalation on it every year.
Oh wow.
So you're just paying
Yep.
a lot.
And a
they're-
lot of them do.
chances are they're way over market value on their lease.
All right, y'all heard that. If you are in a lease and you're not renegotiating when it comes time for those terms to be or to expire or whatever, reach out to Austin
And you want to
because
know
he
the
can help
best
you
thing
renegotiate it.
is, you know, we do it for free because the
What?
landlord.
You heard that?
The landlord pays us.
That's free.
So
For
you know,
free.
we get our fee from the landlord,
That's awesome.
and it's going to save you $10,000 or more a year
Wow.
just in leasing.
Just in leasing. Y'all heard
okay.
that.
Okay. Well, in closing, how can people connect with you or learn more from you?
My phone, Facebook.
What's your
I'm on
phone number?
everything.
What's your phone number?
480-650-9339.
Email?
Email is atatka, so TATKA, at HPRGrealty.com. I'm also on all the socials, just at Austin Tatka.
Awesome. What's one final gem you want to leave our listeners with?
I'd say, I mean, if you're in real estate, this is a heck of a year. I think everybody's buying, regardless, residential, commercial. People are making moves. Interest rates are coming down, so don't wait until Don't wait until interest rates are down and everybody else is back in the market. You know, get to your clients, or if you're a buyer or seller right now, it's time to get moving on it because the frenzy is going to start soon.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Austin. Very, very good. Hopefully we'll see you again because, like I said, we have a bunch more agents that have questions for you, and we'll love to have you again.
You got the Red Bull, I'll be here.
All right.
And we got that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, that's a wrap. You've been rocking with the Weekly Close with CIC, real agents, real stories, real talk. Catch us next week. Same time, new gems.
Beyond the beat, beyond the beat.